Hey guys, and welcome back to Narcissu 2. So I just might cry in this episode just as a warning. Um, yeah. So let's just jump right back in, I guess. From there, we connected onto yet another expressway. Already. Whoa, shit, I forgot I had the volume still up. Shit! Okay, all good. Already, since we left the hospital, about 7 hours had passed. The area had completely become a place that seemed to be out in the middle of the mountains. Right in front on a sign were the words Mount Fuji skyline. Most likely we had already come to a place quite close. And then, that cloudless summer sky had at some point become a dark black evening sky. It's starting to come down. When I looked, rain started to fall from the dark sky. Wait a bit, I'll bring out the top. Uh, Pulling the car to a stop on the shoulder, Himeko-san started to fumble around with or for something. And then, after waiting a while in the light drizzle, it has a roof. Well, it's not an amazing one. As she answered and closed the left and right windows, the Roadster became a perfectly normal car. Until now, it had been a mystery as to what was done when it rained, and it apparently took on this form. Once again, the car drove off, and the rain had truly begun to come down and obscured the road in pure white. The thick black rain clouds, even though it was still before evening, made it dark enough to let one believe it was night. I had a cold sensation striking my head. I looked up at the roof. There were a number of drops dripping down. Sorry, this thing's run down after all. And just like the words meant, the dripping leak started. Looking at how the rain was falling, it didn't look like it would stop for some time. Setsumi, put this on your head. What I was given was a large towel, and as told, I put it on top of my head. And Himeko-san's? I'm fine. Besides, I think it's going to stop soon. Then I'm fine too. She probably wouldn't say, but this might have been the only towel. And even if she were worried that I would get wet, at the very least, I was more worried about Himeko-san herself. That's why I tried to give my towel to her. When I did... Stop, Setsumi! Eh? This was different from her usual way of speaking. This was the very strict expression that she'd show occasionally. But then Himeko-san would... It's okay. I'm fine with getting wet. But... However... Make Setsumi catch a cold and I won't have it. Make Setsumi? Just who was she talking to, I wonder? Now it came down harder, the August rain. For some reason, it was excessively cold and still didn't seem like letting up. Don't look down on me, alright? I'm not wearing this outfit just for show. As if talking to herself, Himeko-san muttered. I had a feeling that didn't mean physically not getting wet, but some different meaning. Throwing up spray, the roadster continued running. Under the endlessly black sky, it now went from an ordinary road onto the Mount Fuji skyline. If you feel cold, just say, okay? I'm fine. With the towel still on my head, I answered Himeko-san as she got wet from the leaks. It'd be better if we took shelter somewhere. Even such an obvious suggestion somehow faltered in the atmosphere. Gripping the wheel was a Himeko-san that was different from usual. It was the first time I've seen a Himeko-san without pajamas. We continued driving. At some point, when the rain had completely stopped, if you looked, there was even the face of the large moon out in the sky. Soon, we'll be arriving at Fuji no Miyaguchi. Along with those words, we went from a narrow mountain road into a suddenly open area. Finally, the car stopped. Looking around, there were signs for the 5th station parking lot. During this season, I had heard that there were many mountain climbers. Perhaps it was the time, and because the weather had been bad, but the area had very few cars around. The door opened and closed with a slam. Here, canned oolong, it's warm. Thank you. With the tea bought from a vending machine in hand, the two of us ate what remained of the packed lunch. Even cold, it's delicious. In the end, it seemed like we were spending the night here. But when we set off, she had said that this was our destination. Did Himeko-san plan on going even higher up? Still plan on going up? Well, I wonder. While holding a croquet in hand, Himeko-san gave a vague answer. Certainly up until here, we were able to come by car. According to the parking lot sign, the altitude was already 2,400 meters. But from here on, there was only mountain climbing trails. Even if we weren't planning on heading all the way to the summit, Himeko-san, a resident of the 7th floor, couldn't be thought of as being able to climb up a mountain path. And even then, if she said she was aiming for higher, shouldn't I hold her back? There was another click and slam. Huh? Suddenly opening the door, Himeko-san stepped out of the car. Just as I was thinking about such things, I also hurried out of the car. When I looked, she was right by the car, looking up at the night sky that had just stopped raining. I was a bit surprised. I had thought that she might have started climbing without saying a thing. Then, perhaps guessing at my unease, Himeko-san began to speak. Oh, right! Once before, I said that I had wanted a friend from a different age group, right? Certainly before the pineapple tree, because pineapples don't grow on trees. It had been the first thing that she had wanted to try. That was maybe a bit of a lie. A lie? Truth is, more than being of a different age group, because it was you. Might be why I wanted to become friends. Himeko-san spoke somehow seriously about what I had also somewhat vaguely noticed. That reason was... that's a difficult question, but to put it bluntly, just a gut feeling maybe? Like, it rang a bell. That was also something I felt I understood. It was close to the feeling I answered Chihiro-san with. And then before, when I had asked whether she was seeing someone else in me, I was told that half of that was exactly that. Then, the remaining half of the reason that had been left a secret at the time. Could this be it? Hey, Setsumi, can I ask you a question? If a person very close to you was gradually getting weaker, would you want to be nearby the whole time watching that? Or rather, at a time you didn't know, they died before you realized. Would you want that? I thought about the meaning of the question, and after thinking seriously in my own way, I don't know. Those are my true feelings. I think I would want to always be by their side. But if I were in the position of leaving, the opposite, by my side, I don't want anyone. That's inconsistent. Exactly. Those leaving and those left behind? Never will the two meet. Even if I could bear my own pain, I couldn't bear another's. She wanted to say that, perhaps? And then Chihiro-san, and the best friend we met at the beach, avoiding them. Then why was I here in this place? Why was I chosen, I wonder? Did Himeko-san want to say that if it was me, then she would be fine? This is, you see, after falling into the hole, something that I first realized. However, no matter how much I shout that it's because there is a hole here, the voices of those who have fallen into that hole can't reach those walking on the surface. That was the reason? Then did she want to say that because I had also fallen into the hole, that voice would reach me? You're different. Huh? You're still falling. there's a chance that you will climb back up. And when it's impossible, and when it's impossible, that's something everyone has to think of for themselves. Then the circumstances now were all the result of Himeko-san's thoughts? After falling into the hole, stopping prayers, and maybe turning them into curses. Really? Patrice was lucky, wasn't he? He could go to his beloved Nello together to heaven after all. And Nello also wouldn't be lonely. Even though I was the professor, I couldn't give an answer. At such a time, if I were a real professor, a doctor of the church like Augustine or Jerome, I probably could have answered with something. Then just tell me this. God is where? Huh? It's like he didn't even hear, even though I prayed in the church. Where was God? At that question, my mouth sealed. I'm sorry, I don't know. I see. Professor One-san doesn't know either. Then raising herself from the bed and facing the window. I guess he's above the sky? While speaking, she looked up at the sky, looking from windows that could only open 15 centimeters at the lightning pre-dawn sky. Say, One-san, I want to go to the roof. The roof? If I prayed from even just a little higher place, maybe I would be heard, right? By God? I can't? No, you can. Alright. Supporting the girl, we headed to the roof. Normally, this place was the one where patients couldn't go. We're not allowed to go. However, at this time for me, for the Alois who was unable to do anything other than buy ice cream, for the powerless professor who couldn't answer with anything, there was nothing else that I could do. The blue-purple pre-dawn sky was turning into the white of day. The bleak place where no one could be seen. Once in a while from the blowing wind, the fence that was taller than the ceiling of the 7th floor rattled. This place feels nice, doesn't it? She spoke as if whispering to herself, and from her pocket she took out the rosary. That was what I had once given to her as a present. Really, without this, it won't become magic, right? And then quietly bringing her hands together, facing where the sun would rise, she spoke. Hallowed by thy name, and lead us not into temptation. This was also what I had taught her before, a number of parts from the Lord's Prayer. However, for this girl, she didn't even know the meanings to the words. Simply words for salvation. Has nothing other than magic, that was all she thought of them. One-san, do you think I was heard now? At those words, nodding, or even affirming was beyond me. I just could do nothing but remain silent. It's useless. Perhaps I should have said that. Or perhaps I should have spoken of atonement. Or perhaps I should have said, for having lived 8 years, be thankful to God. Say, One-san, pray with me? At those words I silently nodded, could do nothing but nod. Then, just like the girl who still continued to pray, to that high sky I offered a prayer. The remaining night air, the whitening sky, the cicadas that started to call, common everyday things of a summer day. From the 7th floor's rooftop, I prayed only for the girl. Always half was used for forgiving myself, but now gathering all of it, I prayed only for the girl. Definitely supposed to be listening somewhere. Toward that God I prayed. I suddenly started to sob. For some reason, tears came. Why are you crying? It's fine, crying. At a time like this, it's okay to cry. Those were whose words? Lord Jesus? No. those were my words. If I were a saint, if my words were not simply for comfort nor a charm, if they were real magic, then now a miracle would happen. Those leaving and those left behind, no matter how much of a best friend, Alois could not become Patrice. I learned of my own powerlessness. Dawn came to Mount Fuji, 5th station. We got out of the car and took some big stretches. Hey, Setsumi? Where do you think he is? All of a sudden, what about? God and the like. I don't know. You're the specialist, aren't you? Indeed I was. Wasn't I? And then after a bit of thinking, I suppose over there? As she spoke, she looked up at the sky. The pure blue summer sky stretched on forever. Yeah. Might be that if you're not closer, you can't be heard. Just saying that, Himeko-san started walking towards the climbing paths. I had sensed the possibility, but already the act itself was the same as suicide. You're serious? It's forbidden, isn't it? For Catholics. Farmers have nothing to do with that. And then stopping her walking feet and turning around. Sorry, Setsumi. There's a few things I won't be satisfied until I say them. Say to who? Isn't it obvious? To that so-called God, some complaints. Complaints? To God? Was she serious? This is the is this the final one? Yes, this is the final one. With just that answer, Himeko-san began walking toward the climbing path. Right now, I should be stopping her? Or perhaps I should be giving her her back a push? Because I didn't know which, just being by her side was all I could do. Ah, this is so hard. The sun had come right above, and unheeding of the altitude, the cicadas noisily cried. This is harder than I thought. We continued on the climbing path. Walk a bit, then rest. Walk a bit, then rest. Just repeating that. Occasionally, other mountain climbers would quickly pass us by while we slowly went upwards, to the high place that Himeko-san aimed for. Now it was some 2 hours in, and we were making to leave the new 6th station. Are you alright? Not particularly alright. Just as the words meant, her panting was furious. Even when the food and drinks that we bought at the shop were being carried by me, it probably didn't need saying, but Himeko-san was a resident of the 7th floor. No matter how healthy she looked, no matter that she didn't need a wheelchair, that was because of her age. Her condition's progression had simply been early. Even without doing anything, there was no mistake that she was within range of death. What's with that face? If you've got something to say it straight. Let's go back. Say it with more force. Huh? If that's what you want, say, go back and order me. Go back. Yeah, looks like I can't obey. And then once again her feet moved to ascend. Right now, I wonder what I should do. Unable to pull her back, I was only able to be there, helplessly watching. Then I'll push you. That was why I pushed Himeko-san's back. So as not to lose to the steep slope. So as to make it even just a bit easier. In my own way, this was all I could do. Stop, Setsumi! No! If you get sick too, what would that do? It's not like I want that. Then let's go back. That's... This exchange we repeated over and over, while slowly Himeko-san climbed up. Eventually, when those feet stopped, it was that time that I feared. At that time, just what should I do? Chapter 18, For Someone's Sake. But I am actually all out of time for this episode, so we will start chapter 18 next time. So if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!